Said he wants to fight Anthony Joshua in 2026.
And the haters online are like, yeah, do it.
Is he?
Oh, man. You look at Anthony Joshua. He looks like a superhero.
Eddie Hearn responding to this just confirms that this fight could actually happen.
In a recent podcast episode, Joe Rogan joked about Jake Paul's plan to fight Anthony Joshua in 2026. Rogan teased that Paul might be waiting so he can load up on steroids before facing the former heavyweight champ.
That Dubois guy, though, holy man. The way he took out Anthony Joshua.
I know.
Yeah, Jake wants to fight Anthony Joshua now?
I know that I will beat Anthony Joshua's.
Said he wants to fight Anthony Joshua in 2026.
And the haters online are like, yeah, do it.
Well, they're like, what about now?
Yeah.
They're like, what about fight him now? He's like, no, I want to wait till 2026. I'm like, okay.
To put on weight?
Put all the steroids, every steroid they have.
I would watch. Here's the thing. I would watch
venom.
it.
Oh, by the way,
Scorpion venom.
Rollo reached out to me, John Rollo, my boy, and he sells this blue scorpion shit. He wants to get you some, Gordon.
I'll have some.
All right, I'll have him send you some.
Get on
I'll
Take
some
quadruple
too.
doses, like
Yeah,
We'll see what happens. I'm gonna start slow. I'm gonna find out if I get poisoned.
Yeah, just
What the fuck are we doing? We're drinking venom from scorpions?
That is weird.
That's weird. He's got the dopest tattoos.
Joe Rogan has always been impressed by Anthony Joshua's strength and superhero-like physique. He's praised Joshua's incredible power and disciplined training, which make him stand out in boxing. Joshua's dominance in the heavyweight division has earned him huge respect in the sport.
Like boxers today, if you look at like Anthony Joshua, who's the heavyweight champion of the world now.
Is
you
he?
look at him, yeah. He's a English fellow. He's a tank. I mean,
Is he?
Oh man, you look at Anthony Joshua. He looks like a superhero.
Do those guys have as much stamina as these guys do, though?
Oh yeah, they do
Oh,
today.
they did?
Yeah, because the conditioning methods that they have today are just so superior. They understand rest and recovery, and they monitor
see.
your heart rate, and they're monitoring lactic acid buildup. And
Jake Paul has been fighting boxing legends, but what if he steps into MMA? His matches against former champs have gotten attention, but MMA would be a whole new challenge. Some even wonder if he'd ever try to fight Joe Rogan himself.
Now that things didn't work out in boxing for Jake Paul, who's he going to fight in MMA?
If he fought Joe Rogan, that'd be the greatest selling fight of all time.
Joe Rogan?
That'd be a good fight. I think Rogan would beat him.
That's insane. You're crazy.
In MMA? Have you seen Joe's kicks?
Joe,
Bam! One to Jake's face, he's dead.
I've seen the spinning kicks, but Joe's like 70 years old now. He's like 3 feet shorter than Jake Paul. He's a blob.
One DMT trip right beforehand, he'll see every punch Jake's gonna throw.
No matter how many cold plunges or sauna trips Joe takes, he won't be prepared for a fight against Jake Paul.
Jake Paul's strategy is simple. Call out big-name fighters to keep himself in the spotlight.
I love that.
Well, it'd be cool just to be like, why does it have to be like, hey, I need to beat you at MMA? You are a kickboxer.
Right.
You are an MMA fighter. It's two different sports.
Right.
It's like,
Yeah, but it's like exciting to see. Like,
Yeah.
let's see what happens.
Yeah.
See if he could survive the first round in just pure Muay Thai.
Yeah.
No takedowns.
No, I think that clown show is that Jake Paul match. Such a clown show.
What are they doing?
Is he still fighting AD? Is that still going on?
Oh, that one. Yeah, I thought because he's got a PFL contract as
Oh,
well,
that's right.
right?
Joe Rogan has admitted that Jake Paul hits hard, especially after seeing him knock out a former UFC champ with one punch. Rogan said if Paul had started as a boxer instead of a YouTuber, fans might respect his skills more. But because of his online fame, many still doubt him.
If Jake Paul wasn't Jake Paul, if he wasn't this YouTube guy, he was just a boxer, and you see a boxer knock out the former UFC welterweight champion, not just the former, but one of the best ever, knock him out with one punch like that, you'd be like, oh man, have you seen this Jake Paul dude coming up? If it wasn't that big YouTube star, and you just saw him as a boxing contender, you'd be like, that dude's got dynamite in his hands.
Eddie Hearn warned Jake Paul, if he really wants to fight Anthony Joshua, he'd better get insurance. Joshua is a powerhouse, and facing him is risky.
Eddie Hearn responding to Jake Paul's call out of Anthony Joshua by stating this. He states, Joshua would fight anyone anytime, but warn Paul about the risk. If Jake Paul wants to step up and fight Anthony Joshua, he'll need the relevant insurance. And let me counterpunch. Eddie Hearn responding to this just confirms that this fight could actually happen. Because, Eddie pretty much, calls the shots. He makes the play. Anthony Joshua's interested. Now, Eddie Hearn is stating that he's interested. So that means, hey, why not wait? Why wait to 26? Why not this year in 25? And that means that he is very comfortable with putting Anthony Joshua in there with Jake Paul. And if I was Eddie Hearn, people, counterpunching this statement, I would too. Because this is, to me, again, like I've told you guys before, when Jake Paul called out Anthony Joshua, I think he overstepped himself.
Hearn also questioned why Paul wants to wait until 2026 instead of fighting now. He thinks if Paul is serious, he should step into the ring ASAP. Hearn's confidence suggests talks might already be happening, meaning the fight could come sooner than expected.
And Eddie being that confident by responding the way he did, why wait to next year? Let's do it now, or let's do it this year. That says a lot, man. That is saying a lot about Eddie Hearn. The confidence is there. He wants that fight because Jake Paul is better than people think he is. But can he beat AJ? No. Because one shot from AJ would put Jake Paul on a stretcher, on the gurney. And Eddie, he saw that. He saw it just like I did. Just like I think you guys know. I think Jake Paul is calling him out because he needs another big fight. And calling out Anthony Joshua is a good way to do it. He promised Canelo Alvarez, I promise you, you're going to need me. I promise you, my fight is going to be bigger than yours. Well, who is on that level?
Shannon Sharp doesn't think Jake Paul stands a chance against Anthony Joshua. He said Joshua is way too big for Paul, and his size, power, and experience make him a dangerous matchup. Many believe this fight could go very badly for Paul.
The elites. We talk about the elites at their craft. It's not going to happen. If I'm not mistaken, I think Jake fought the closest,
Tyson Fury, brother.
Tommy Paul, the closest person to actually,
Tommy Fury.
Tommy. If you want to challenge someone with the one loss you have. Take him out.
Despite the hate, boxing analyst Teddy Atlas has praised Jake Paul for working hard to improve. He sees Paul's dedication and believes he's genuinely trying to compete at a high level.
But listen, I don't want to mock it. I know you're going to take me there. I don't want to mock it because anyone gets in the ring, I ain't mocking them. I'm not. And I have a lot of respect for Jake Paul, what he's done, and the way he's done it. He's trained hard to become the best fighter he can be, and he's a work in progress, and he's still working. He's still trying to be better.
Jake Paul hasn't just called out Anthony Joshua. He's also claimed he can beat Canelo Alvarez. That's frustrated boxing fans, since Canelo is one of the best fighters in the world.
I want to fight Anthony Joshua, exclusive, because I know that I will beat Anthony Joshua's ass.
He just got knocked out, right?
Yeah. He doesn't have a chin, and he has no skill, and he's stiff. And I love you, Anthony. We're friends. All this I want to fight you. I will beat Canelo.
Stop the tape now. I'm going to keep this short and sweet. The thing I respect about Jake Paul is his strategic selection of opponent. The retired NBA player, the mixed martial artist who does not specialize in striking, and a almost approaching 60-year-old Mike Tyson. But Anthony Joshua's skills are 1,000 light years ahead of Jake Paul's. Anthony Joshua, Mr. 28 wins, 25 knockouts, 4 losses. Anthony Joshua has been in the ring with real fighters. His resume speaks for itself. I just have one thing to say. Jake Paul, you can't play boxing. Trust me. Just stay in your lane.
A major issue in this fight is the weight difference. Jake Paul weighed around 200 lbs against Mike Tyson, while Anthony Joshua fights at 250 plus lbs. That's a big gap.
the real deal respond to me as I tweeted my thoughts about delusion, which again, I think is more about what Jake said about Anthony Joshua and what he'll do to him. That was the more delusional aspect of this. Amanda Serrano said, at Jake Paul is the truth. Funny, they say he's a fraud for wanting easy fights. Then he asked for the toughest fights ever, and they say he's nuts. Listen, he was scheduled to fight Canelo Gervonta, and now he's calling out Joshua. Come on, who else is doing this? Oh, crap, on second thought, he is out of his freaking mind. You're right. That was more of just Amanda backing her guy, you know what I'm saying? The co-founder of MVP and someone that she really respects. And Gervonta Davis, and she's not the only one saying that. Dan Rafael said the same thing earlier that day or maybe yesterday. I can't believe that that's true or if that was really going to happen. Essentially, the idea being, had Gervonta Davis beat Lamont Roach, he was going to fight Jake Paul next. And this is why I say, like, it's delusional, but it's possible. Like, he almost had the Canelo fight, and think what you will about how that went down and how realistic that was going to be. I legit think it was probably close to happening. Now you're telling me there were discussions and potentially, you know, signed to fight Gervonta Tank Davis. And again, I do believe the reason for that is Jake's massive size advantage. Again, that's like a 100-pound weight advantage. How would that even work?
Anthony Joshua has fought elite boxers for years. He's way more experienced than Jake Paul. Joe Rogan has pointed this out, saying Joshua's been in wars with top fighters while Paul is still new.
Dubois is coming into his own, man. That's what that is. He's only like 27. That guy's fucking scary. He's dangerous. Going into that fight, it seems like he believed that he was just going to dominate him. He was so aggressive. He was just in the pocket constantly, just forcing Joshua to go to war. It was wild.
Everybody was like, look, to Joshua, I think you're done.
Right after he knocks out Francis Ngannou, and it's like, everyone's like, you're back.
Yeah.
Flattened Francis Ngannou, and everyone's like, oh, Joshua's back. Look how good he looked.
Jake Paul gets criticized for picking safe opponents, often retired or past their prime fighters. His match with 52-year-old Mike Tyson led to accusations that he only takes easy wins. Joe Rogan said he was just glad Tyson didn't get hurt and got a big paycheck.
Wasn't the Tyson-Jake fight, wasn't that amazing?
Yeah. It's amazing they got paid so much money for that.
25 million and 40 million?
I think 20 and 40. Yeah,
20 and
I think
40.
that's what I'd heard. You know, which I'm happy Mike got the money, and I'm happy that he didn't get hurt. That was my fear, that it was going to be a real fight and he was going to get hurt.
You've known him for a long time. I've known him for a long time.
I love that dude.
Me too.
And he was a larger-than-life figure in my childhood.
Truly, me
when
too.
I was a kid, when he was the champ, it was like, people don't understand what a champ he was. Like,
Yeah.
he wasn't just the heavyweight champion of the world. He was an executioner. Like,
Truly.
every fight was just a matter
I don't
of how
remember
long was it going to
which
last.
fight it was that I went to go see a couple of fights, and I actually went to go see Julio Cesar Chavez fight, and that's when I met Tyson in the green room, and
wow.
I met at the same time Muhammad Ali in the green room.
Oh, wow.
That was a moment.
Wow.
As a boxing fan,
That's
that was
a
a
heavy
real
moment.
moment. But I remember, and I don't know who it was, and I think it was a 90-second fight, and I went to go see this fight, and Tyson was fighting, and this guy was doing this stuff before, and he had this, he had built himself into confidence. And Mike came out afterwards. He was the first one, obviously, and Mike came out afterwards, and I watched his face. I didn't watch Mike. You would normally watch Mike because he's so charismatic, and he's coming, you want to see what he's going to do. And I watched the guy's face, and I watched that confidence bleed from his face.
Rampage Jackson slammed Jake Paul for avoiding real competition. He said he'd only fight Paul if he was old, implying Paul only fights weaker opponents.
Jake Paul. No, but I'm never going to call out Jake Paul again because I saw Butterbean call him out and that looked pathetic. So I'm never going to call out Jake Paul. But I've called out Jake Paul and stuff like that. Everybody calling out Jake Paul. And Jake Paul. I'm not calling out Jake Paul. He won't fight me for another 10 years until I'm too old to get in there. I'm not. Everybody know that's a money fight and stuff like that. But fuck, I don't give a fuck about him.
Just overall, your thoughts on his opponent selection these last few fights?
He's smart. He's smart.
Jake Paul isn't just targeting Anthony Joshua. He's also said he can beat Canelo Alvarez. Fans think that's crazy since Canelo is one of the best boxers alive. But Paul doesn't seem to care.
Who's the person that if you fight, you're like, I can't believe I'm in the ring with this person, and let's fucking go?
I think Canelo. We're the two biggest names in the sport and two biggest pay-per-view draws in the sport. I think it shut the internet down. And I know I can win. So
you could beat Canelo.
Yes.
Jake Paul says he wants to fight Joshua in 2026 to gain experience and bulk up. But Eddie Hearn thinks he should fight now if he's serious. Paul also called Hearn two-faced, saying he acts nice on camera but isn't behind the scenes.
And of course, Eddie Hearn is already preparing his excuse.
Dude, he's preparing it.
Yeah, that's what he does. He's a weasel. He's a snake. Snake guy right there.
What do you mean he's a weasel?
Man, I don't even know where to begin with him, but he's very two-faced. You know, I think off camera, he's like on your side, like, man, you do well, I love what you're doing actually, and like I really respect it, and blah blah blah, and you're gonna take this a long way. And then the cameras come on, and he's like, "You're not that good," da da da, saying all.
So he's
this
selling.
Stuff.
He's
Like
selling.
a backhand. It's like a backhanded compliment.
Yeah.
Or a backhanded diss. Like the way he words it and shit. He's like, "Oh, you're average." Well, average isn't that bad. Well, Eddie, what if I called your wife average? You know what I'm saying? Like,
love him or hate him, Jake Paul has succeeded as a promoter, bringing attention to boxing. He's even tried calling out Gervonta Tank Davis, but Davis laughed it off, calling Paul a clown.
How about Jake? What do you think of Jake?
Clown.
Yeah.
He's a clown.
Would you look at it as a joke if someone, if your team was like, "Yo, we want you to fight Jake Paul"? Would you be like, "Come on, man"?
I laugh at him. Like, you want me to fight him?
You think it'll ever come to the point where you're going to mix into, I mean, you're obviously doing the real shit, but will it ever mix into the point where the money's big enough?
Yeah,
for
would you ever
to
do a
take-
fight like that?
I feel as though in my career I can't do that right now.
Interestingly, Tank Davis has now shown interest in fighting Jake Paul. That might be why Paul's delaying the Joshua fight. Maybe he wants Davis first.
Who were you going to call out? What was the plan originally?
I think he was here. He came in my locker room.
Shakur Stevenson?
He wasn't in my locker room.
Jake Paul?
Next question.
God damn, that's not the Gervonta I know.
Floyd Mayweather says Jake Paul is great at making money, but isn't a real boxer. He respects Paul's hustle, but doesn't see him as elite.
You get out of that bubble to make somebody a real boxer.
I mean, what he's doing is, I mean, kind of cool. If he can continue to steal money and they match him the way they match him, I can't knock his hustle. So if they can match him the way how they've been matching him, more power to him.
Champ, we appreciate your time.
Yeah.
No, we got to give, Nick, put the camera on PT. Yo, PT, man, we appreciate you. Thanks, P, for making this happen. P and Rilla, we appreciate the money team all the time, man. We got so one time before we go, Floyd, because I'm coming over to the palace. What's in the ceiling? So the fans know what's in the ceiling?
Oh, Chihuly?
Chihuly. Yo, Floyd, thank you so much. We appreciate you, champ. We coming over to the palace soon, man.
All right, let's do it.
Got you, man. Thank you.
Jake Paul even challenged Mayweather, but Floyd said he'd only fight under real boxing rules. He made it clear, making money doesn't make you a top fighter.
Fight. Is he someone you're interested in or no?
Well, if you go back, you got to do your homework, look on the internet. I think he was doing a sit down on a podcast one time, and he talked about it. He said, I don't want to do an exhibition against Floyd Mayweather.
Yeah.
He said, I'm only doing real fights. And of course, I can't get up high in weight, but I'll fight him in a real fight at the weight that I'm at. But Jake Paul, I mean, as of right now, for what he's doing, it's good for what he's doing. But once he fights a real fighter, it's going to be bad.
Have you been impressed?
But one thing I like about him, one thing I do like about him, he's selling it. He's selling it, and he's making good money, and he's entertaining. I like it.
Is he? And Floyd, there are many people who believe you're the most talented fighter ever. Period. So whatever you say to this question, I think is important. Are you impressed? Does he have boxing ability, or is he just an entertainer who has a lot of fans and can promote a fight and has fought lesser opponents, or is he actually talented?
As long as he continues to fight MMA guys and YouTubers, he's gonna continue to look good and shine.